In my last video, we discussed about the first chapter of maths, that is real numbers. Today also we will continue with it, children. As a homework, you have to do exercise 1.3, 1.4 in your fair notebook. So get ready with the copy and pen. So in the last video, we discussed, let's revisit those definitions. Real numbers. They are the numbers which are the combination of rational as well as irrational numbers. We discussed rational numbers. Those numbers which can be expressed as P upon Q, where Q not equal to 0 and PQ belong to integers. We discussed irrational numbers. Those numbers which cannot be expressed as P upon Q, where Q not equal to 0. Now, co-prime integers. They are those integers which have no common factor other than 1. Now, let's study one theorem. Children, the theorem says, let P be a prime number and A be a positive integer if P divides A square, then P divide A. So let's prove this theorem. You can see we are given P is a prime number, A is positive integer. So P is a prime number. So NO I am using for the number, already I told in my last video. A is positive integer. Third thing that is given is P divides A square. To prove, so we have to prove that P divide A. P divide A. Let's see the proof of it. We know that every positive integer can be expressed as a product of primes, and we are assuming that A is a positive integer. So A can be expressed as product of primes. So let A equal to P1, P2, where P1, P2, Pn are prime numbers, primes. So since A is a positive integer, it can be expressed as a product of primes. Since A can be expressed as product of primes. Now, let's square on both sides. On squaring both sides, so it will give A square equal to P1, P2, Pn since P divides A square. You can see, children, it's given P divides A square. Since P divides A square, so it implies P is prime factor of a square. So this implies P is 1 of P1, P2, Pn. So this implies P divides A, since A equal to P1, it's expressed as a product of primes. It means P is going to be the prime factor of A also. So thus, if P divides A square, it will divide A. Now let's use this theorem. Proof that root 5 is irrational. Children, we will prove it by using the contradiction method. So we will assume, so let's see the solution. Let us assume root 5 is a rational number. What's the definition of rational number? Number that can be expressed as P upon Q, where PQ belong to integers and Q not equal to 0. So if we assume root 5 is a rational number, so this implies I can write root 5 as P upon Q, where Q not equal to 0 and PQ are co-prime integers. Co-prime integers that have no common factor other than 1. Squaring on both sides. So 5 equal to P square by Q square. It gives 5Q square equals to P square. You can see 5 is a prime number. Just now we have read the theorem. If P is a prime number and if it divides A square, then it will divide A. Same way, 5 is a prime number and you can see 5 divides P square. So this implies 5 divides P square. So this implies 5 divides P. So it means 5 is a factor of P. So P equals to 5M, where M belongs to integer. So let us consider equation 1, 2. Put value of P from 2 in 1. Let's put the value of P in equation 1. So we get 5Q square equals to 5M square. 5Q square equals to 5 square, that means 25M square. So we get Q square equals to 5M square. Again 5 is a prime number and it divides Q square. So this implies 5 divide Q square. So this implies 5 divide Q. The same theorem, P divides A square, then P, if P divides, P is a prime number, A is a positive integer, P divides A square, then P divides A. Same, 5 divides Q square, 5 divides Q. So let Q equals to 5N, where N belongs to integer. Let it be equation 3. So children, you can see in equation 2, 5 is a factor of P. Equation 3, 5 is a factor of Q. From 2 and 3, 5 implies 5 is a common factor of P and Q, but it contradicts the fact that they are co-prime integers. you know, we assume that PQ are co-prime integers, but now we are saying that 5 is another co-prime integers, no common factor other than 1. But now we can see 5 is another factor which is common in both P and Q. It means it contradicts the fact they are co-prime integers. So this, therefore, our assumption was wrong. Assumption was wrong. And what was our assumption? That root 5 is rational. So if we are wrong, what does it means? This implies root 5 is irrational number. So hence proved. So understood the contradiction method? We will assume, but we find there is a contradiction in our assumption. It means the other way it is true. Now let's see another question. Prove that 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. It's a very important question, children, because this type is generally asked in 3 marks in the board exam. And generally, I'm not saying it's compulsory, but still, if you will see the previous papers, you will find this type of question. So just take it seriously. Let's see the solution of it. Again, we will use the contradiction method to prove it. Let us assume 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational number. This implies 3 plus 2 root 5 equal to P upon Q, where Q not equal to 0 and PQ are integers. So that is the definition of rational number, you remember. Now we will apply the simple maths. Let's transpose 3 to the other side. So we will get P by Q minus 3, 2 root 5. Let's take Q as LCM. It will give P minus 3Q. Now let's take 2 on the other side. So root 5 equals to P minus 3Q upon 2. Have a look on the right hand side. P minus 3, Q, 2. What are they? P and Q are integers. What are 2 and minus 3? They are also integers. What are integers? All the numbers that are positive, negative, including 0. So P minus 3, Q, 2. They all are integers. And definition says integer upon integer. It's a rational number only. Denominator should not be 0. So you can see there is no number 0 and all are integers. So P minus 3Q, it will be integer. 2Q, it will be integer. It means right hand side integer upon integer. What is right hand side? So this implies right hand side is a rational number. Since left hand side equal to right hand side, it means left hand side is a rational number. And what is on left hand side? Root 5. Just now we proved that root 5 is a rational number. So it contradicts the fact root 5 is irrational. What we proved? Irrational. Here we are proving root 5 is rational. It means our assumption is wrong. Therefore, our assumption is wrong. 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational number. We are wrong. It should be irrational number. Now children, there is one more theorem which says let x be a rational number whose decimal expansion. I told you rational number decimal expansion, it's either terminating or non-terminating but repeating. So let x be a rational number whose decimal expansion is terminating then x can be expressed as P upon Q, where PQ are coprimes and prime factorization of Q is in the form 2 raised to the power m 5 raised to the power n, where m, n are non-negative integers. How we will use this theorem? Let's see. Now in the exercise 1.4 you will see that if we will use the long division, children, then surely we will find out whether it's a terminating or non-terminating expansion. But he will say that without long division, that means you are not going to use the long division process. Without long division, find out the given rational number is terminating or non-terminating with repeating expansion. So if without long division, show 17/8 is terminating or non-terminating but repeating rational number, and if it is terminating, find that expansion. So question says, without long division, you will not do the long division. You have to show whether 17/8 is terminating or non-terminating but repeating rational number. And by chance if it is terminating, then you have to find that expansion also. So let's see the solution, children. 17/8. So let 17/8, it can be expressed, it's a rational number, can be expressed as P upon Q. So let's check the prime factorization of Q. What we read in the theorem, just we do on the previous page, that if x is a rational number, and then it can be expressed as P upon Q, and Q has the prime factorization of 2 raised to the power m 5 raised to the power n, where mn belongs to non-negative integers. So let's check the prime factorization of Q. What is Q? 8. Let's find the factors of 8. So it can be written as I can write these factors: 2 raised to the power Q, 5 raised to the power 0, because 5 raised to the power 0, it's simply 1. So you can see the prime factorization of Q has the 2 raised to the power 3, 5 raised to the power 0. So this implies 17/8 is a terminating rational number. Now let's find the expansion. So 17 by 8. So we can write like this: 2 raised to the power cube into 5 raised to the power cube. 17. You read in the Euclid's chapter 9 that we can multiply by the same number on the numerator and denominator, then it will create no change. So multiply 17 by 125. I am waiting, children. Do it fast.